Welcome to Cavs Insider here on cleveland.com. Cavs at the unofficial halfway point of the season, 33-22 through 55 games, 5th place in the Eastern Conference. Chris Fedor, Chris Haynes, Bud Shaw to talk all about what went down in the first half. Also, the trade deadline is tomorrow at 3 o'clock, so we'll get into that. What is the latest with Ray Allen? We'll get into that as well. Any questions, any comments? Go to the comments section at the bottom of the post. Chris is all bundled up, ready to go to Alaska over here.
I feel like I'm in Alaska now. I'm ready to go. I'm trying to thaw out right now.
All right, you just got back from New York.
Yes.
LeBron James was there for the All-Star festivities. Kyrie Irving was there for the All-Star festivities. LeBron made an interesting comment before the All-Star game, saying that he felt the Cavs were where he wanted them to be. Do you get the sense, being around LeBron, being around Kyrie, talking to David Blatt, that the Cavs feel good about the place that they're in right now with this team?
Blatt has been feeling good about the place of this team for quite some time. LeBron James has slowly reached that point. And you could tell his state of mind, you can just tell by his body language and how we just harping on the future and talking about, just talking about what he feels like they can achieve moving forward. And he's definitely in the best state that he's been at throughout the course of the season. It's been an up and down roller coaster, as we all know. But he's feeling good, and when LeBron is feeling good, I guess that bodes well for the team. Kyrie, he's been saying from day one, this is the best team I've been a part of. Everybody hangs out. So LeBron James, for him to feel this way right now, it's nothing but good.
Well, Chris, you mentioned it. It has been a roller coaster for the Cavs. I mean, they've dealt with some injuries. They've dealt with drama. Obviously, there are rumors about David Blatt and his future as head coach. But, Bud, they go into the All-Star break, winners of 14 of 16. They dropped that final game against Chicago on the road there, but winners of 14 of 16. What do you feel like has changed with this team in the last month or so?
Well, it's funny. First, I've kidded you about our preseason predictions, but this is the team that you saw.
That's exactly right.
I mean, you can always say now this is a 70-win team. They're just not going to get a chance to win 70 together.
Wait, you thought I was just talking about the regular season? See, guys, I meant preseason, regular season, and playoffs.
Big picture. I think the biggest thing, and obviously Chris is closer to it than I am, but to me it just seemed like LeBron came back from that eight games off physically better, but also committed to what they were trying to do. It didn't seem like he was along for the ride prior to that. I'm sure he would dispute that, but I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, if he's going to be the leader of these guys, he can't be a leader by convenience. He has to be there every day, and he has to consistently buy in. And it now looks like he has.
You sense the same thing when it comes to LeBron? There was some friction between him and Blatt, it seemed like. Do you feel like that's in the past now, Chris?
That's in the past, huh? I think it's better. I think it's better. One thing about Blatt, I'm going to put this out there. Everybody want to criticize me whenever I bring up something that LeBron said, David Blatt disagreed with, and they call me the hater. I'm just reporting the facts.
Right.
First, David Blatt, he hates being called a rookie coach.
Yes.
He hates being called a rookie coach.
Which LeBron has done.
Just recently, very last game, I asked LeBron, I'm like, hey, LeBron, how was David Blatt done the first half of the season? Well, he's a rookie coach. That's what we're. So, with that being said, things are better. They're winning. Winning cures all. We all know that. But is it in the past? I'm not ready to go that far yet.
But I'm interested to see how this team handles things here in the second half. And I did a story the other day for cleveland.com just about the challenges of this second half. Kyrie Irving's never been in a playoff push before. Kevin Love has never been in a playoff push before. Tristan Thompson, same thing. On top of that, you look at the schedule, they're seeing playoff team after playoff team after playoff team here in the first 14 games. What do you feel like we can learn from this team in the second half that maybe we didn't get to learn in the first?
Well, exactly what you just said. I mean, Kevin Love, for as good a player as he was in Minnesota, Kyrie, for as good as he became here as a young player, neither one of these guys has done what a lot of teams in this league have done, which is chase playoff spots late in the season. I'd like to think that Kyrie is going to be fine in that department because he seems pretty happy with his role, the way he's playing. He has seen the benefit of being required to play defense at times. He's played a lot better. Kevin Love's the one that I'm still very concerned about. If I were a Cavs fan, I'd be very concerned about him. Not because I don't think he's a talent or he is not playing better. I still think he looks and carries himself like a guy who doesn't know where he fits still on this team.
Did you sense the same thing, Chris?
I mean, we're 50-something games in.
Yeah.
And he's still talking about, I need to find my way. I'm still waiting to find my niche with this ball club. That is a problem. I mean, the Cavs have won 14 of the last 16 games. You know, you can, live on that if you want. But at the end of the day, especially when you talk about playoffs, you're going to need that third scorer to be able to come through. You're just not sure if you're going to get that from him on a consistent basis.
Do you guys have any sense that he's hurt worse than we might think, that his back is a bigger
It sure
issue?
looks like it,
I mean,
Bud
he's
and
not
Chris.
playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that he ever played above the rim and close to the basket.
Yeah,
and
he
all
never
that.
have, yeah.
But he certainly doesn't seem like he's playing much off the floor at all.
All he has said that, he has injuries that everybody else has at this point in the career. I do think, but I do think there's something a little bit more serious than what he's letting on.
Yeah, and I understand where both of you guys are coming from when it comes to Kevin Love. And I've got some questions about him for the second half and then going into the playoffs as well. The thing that I continue to go back to, though, is that there aren't a lot of guys in the NBA that can average double-digit rebounds. There are a lot of guys, and I was talking to Terry Pluto about this during his podcast yesterday. There are a lot of guys in the NBA that average 20-plus points per game. So if Kevin Love can just go out there and make an impact, and maybe it's not 20 points per game, maybe it's not 22 points per game, maybe it's going to be one of these situations where he goes for 19 one night and then 10 the next night. But I feel like his importance on this team sometimes gets overlooked. And I think what he brings to the Cavs is exactly what they want from him. He's spacing the floor. He's making things easier for Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. He's cleaning the glass. And I think we saw that last game against Chicago before the All-Star break, the true importance of Kevin Love. The offense looked like it was a little bit disjointed. It looked like it was too clustered together because they didn't have that floor spacer. And they obviously didn't have enough size inside to handle a team like Chicago.
But I think, Chris, what everybody's missing, there's two aspects to this. The first aspect is that, yes, Kevin Love does help this team. Every coach has talked about it when we ask them, hey, what do you think about Kevin Love's role? Kevin Love helps this team out, just his presence on the floor. And, he's been a big contribution to their winning 14 out of the 16. The second aspect of this is Kevin Love. He's not happy with his role. Okay. He is not happy with his role. So, he wants more touches. He wants to be more involved in the offensive end. What's going to happen? Or is the team going to appease one player and go away from what has been working?
Interesting.
So that's the two different aspects that people have to keep in mind.
I think that's a great point. What I was thinking as you were saying that was, yes, they're getting what they need from him. He's not getting what he wants from them.
Exactly.
And he's not been a big problem right now. But just as the stress level rises late in the season, you just wonder how that's all going to work.
Guys, Cavs have already made 2 trades. They bring in Timofey Mozgov. They bring in Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith. Trade deadline is tomorrow. Obviously, the Cavs, Chris, don't have a bunch of assets. What is a realistic expectation for them at tomorrow's trade deadline? Is there activity when it comes to this team?
It's going to be difficult. My gut tells me that there will be no activity at the trade deadline. I think you're looking at probably picking up some guys, backup point guard position from China or something like that. But a name I want to throw out there, a native over here, Norris Cole. I've been told there's a little bit more interest in it, now leading up to the trade deadline. I was told months ago they weren't even at all considering them. So a name like that. And the big man, Brendan Haywood's contract is still out there.
Right.
It's not a lot of people still, vouching for that right now.
Not to put you on the spot,
Yeah.
but I
Do
like
it.
putting
Go
you
ahead.
on the
Go
spot.
ahead.
That's fine.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Didn't I
Always.
read something from you recently that you wouldn't be a biggest fan of a deal that brings Norris Cole?
I would not,
Okay.
because I don't like guards who can't shoot.
I thought it was you.
Because I think when you get into a playoff series and you're talking about a point guard or a shooting guard, if you have to play 4-on-5 offensively because of that guy, I think that's going to be a huge problem.
Man, you call him an offensive liability.
He is an offensive liability.
4-on-5?
Oh, yeah. He's an offensive liability.
I think he's a better offensive player than Dellavedova.
Well, okay, I think that's splitting hairs, number one, and I don't think that's a huge claim to fame for Norris Cole.
I'm just saying, that's what we're talking about here.
Look, if you're talking about an open outside shot, I'd rather have Matthew Dellavedova taking that shot than Norris Cole any day of the week. Okay. And the other thing that concerns me a little bit with Norris Cole, he's a point guard. He's supposed to be a stabilizer. He's supposed to be a floor general. Too many times he goes out of control, and you have no clue what he's doing.
I would agree. I would just say this, though. On this team, he wouldn't have that role.
That's
it would
true.
be more so of a defensive presence because that's what they need. They need somebody out there who's going to actually play defense and not look like he's playing defense, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm not sold on a fit, but I'm just saying as the trade deadline comes about, you know, teams start to get desperate, personnel start to get desperate, and you see some strange things start happening.
Where does Ray Allen end up? In his living room?
It's, you know, at the end of the day, I think he does end up here. But the longer this plays out, and I reached out to his reps today, still nothing. You know, and he likes it. He's fine. He's fine with being home. He's a guy that doesn't need the limelight. He's a guy that doesn't need to be out here and be exposed. And you know, he's coming to the realization that he's getting older, and you know, it's only, you know, how much can he help? Does he want to come out? Because this team right now, but you see, would Ray Allen fit? He can definitely help them locker room wise, but do they really need him?
Doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. They needed him before they traded for J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert. Now you got a logjam at one position. What about Larry Sanders? Milwaukee Bucks bought out Larry Sanders. Will he play this year even, Chris?
Larry Sanders.
Man, a lot of people are talking about Larry Sanders.
Come on, people.
One of the things.
Look what he's going through now. You know that in this locker room right now.
No, would he be willing to play this year, or is he somebody that everybody should just forget about because he's got his own troubles? That
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say everybody needs to forget about him, but the Cavs certainly need to forget about him.
Okay. He's a big guy. He's a shot blocker. He's a rebounder, 7-footer.
There's a lot of other things too that I can't name on air right now.
Do you think he plays this year?
I do. I do think he plays. I do think he plays. I mean, you got to make that money. But God, Larry, can you imagine Larry Sanders in this locker room right now?
Well, I could imagine him on the court being a backup to Timofey Mozgov.
Hey, as long as they get him to dress in like a supply closet.
Boy, we would have stories for days if he came here. I'll tell you that.
All right, before we get out of here, fill in the blank. Blank is the biggest threat to the Cavs in the East. Go, bud.
Chicago.
I agree, Chicago.
Atlanta's got the most wins in the NBA, guys.
I know.
Not sold on them.
Why? I would think that you would be because you're so all about the team basketball concept and playing the right way, and you've talked about how great the San Antonio Spurs are.
Yeah, but the Spurs still have players you can give to at the end of the game to get you a bucket.
You don't think Atlanta does?
No, I do not.
You don't think Jeff Teague good?
No, not at all.
Really?
The defense is key. I don't think anybody on that roster you can say, hey, get me 6 points the next minute and a half. I don't think you can do it. In the playoffs, when the defense is geared towards stopping you, I don't see it. Great story. I'm just not sold right now.
I think next time we need to see you two in a steel cage match.
All right, blank is the biggest concern for the Cavs.
You're not talking about an opposition.
No, I'm not talking about
that.
Their own concerns.
I would say, and it's a cop-out, but I would say injury to Kyrie Irving. I think that's the one spot, and he hasn't been. The only reason I say it is that he hasn't been the most consistently available guy in the league since he came in.
Kevin Love, how he will adapt to postseason play, because the defenses are going to attempt to stop LeBron, put 2 or 3 guys on him. And Kyrie, I think Kyrie's going to do his thing. He's a natural scorer. Kevin Love, handling the adversity, the pressure, has never been to these type of lights. I want to see how he adapts to that.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say experience. Because remember when they brought in Mike Miller, James Jones, and Sean Marion, and Brendan Haywood, too. People were like, well, you know, that's the experience. Those are the veteran leaders.
How is that looking like now?
Yeah, they're not playing. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, the fact is, Kyrie Irving's never been to the postseason. Neither has Kevin Love. So the guys that you're relying on, besides LeBron, nobody's got playoff experience.
Is LeBron okay with some of these key moves that he made? not getting off the bench?
There you go.
He signed off on
Hey,
it.
I don't think he, you know, I think he can't. I think he can't justify what's going on right now.
All right, Chris, Bud, thanks for joining me today. Thanks to all of you guys for your questions and your comments in the comments section. Continue to check out cleveland.com/Cavs. Cavs starting the unofficial second half of the season Friday night in Washington, 33-22. They are the number 5 seed right now in the Eastern Conference. We'll talk to you next time. Later.